35192. Want to send me a text? Bill's back today, so live stream video for you. Go to the Alan Cox Show YouTube channel. Guardians get their first game over on the Twins. That's the first of four last night. 4-3 was the final here at home. Very, very busy night last night in downtown Cleveland as people were making their way to the game over to the game last night because there are only a handful of regular season games left. They've got one more road series. This weekend, they'll be in St. Louis, play the Cardinals. Other than that, they're here at home. Sunday the 29th is the end of the regular season, where they'll play the Houston Astros. But the magic number is 7. That's what the Guardians are looking for. They have to have, what is it?
It's a combination.
Royals have to lose, we have to win, whatever you get.
And
whatever.
that magic is a combination of those two.
And then they clinch the division, AL Central Division.
Yep. Exciting. Very exciting.
They win today and tomorrow versus Minnesota. This is what I love at the end of the season or at any point where they start looking at postseason ball in any sport and they go, all right, here's what they have to do. All they have to do is win today and tomorrow. And Detroit has to lose today or tomorrow.
This is the fun
and,
yeah.
And Seattle has to lose today or tomorrow versus New York, or the Guardians can win one today or tomorrow, and Detroit loses today and tomorrow. There's a lot of ands and ors in this.
But they're in a good spot.
They're in a great spot. They seem to be having a lot of fun. It's always funny.
It's a great team.
It's always funny to me. It's much easier for management and the players to talk to the media when the team's doing well. Now, I say this as a Chicago White Sox fan, where those guys are like hiding their face, and yesterday I mentioned briefly that the GM said that they're not looking at making any big changes with the Chicago White Sox as they currently sit at 33-115. They're not making any big roster changes for next season. They're falling back on this is a young team that needs work. And so you best believe whoever's in charge, Grady Sizemore, and everybody else there with that organization, Jim Thome, if you can't avail yourself of the wisdom of White Sox legend Jim Thome when he's just down the hall, I don't know who you are. But here in Cleveland, Guardians are killing it. So tonight, game 2 of 4 against the Twins here at home. That is a 6:40 first pitch on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app if you want to listen there. I am transfixed because this is like some mid-90s spy movie stuff. I am transfixed by the story about the exploding pagers.
I just saw this.
Did you see the video?
And I was like, who is still having a pager?
Well, because cell phones, I don't think you can track a pager, right? You can't. Pager is, a lot of these organizations are going for low tech. Because with a cell phone, it can get tracked. They can figure out where you are. This was if you go back to the 90s, we're talking the very beginning days of massive cell phone use. Obviously nowhere near where it is now. But I remember getting my first cell phone in 96, maybe. And they were still the big black brick. Not the Saved by the Bell brick, but it was a brick, and it had an antenna you had to pull out.
And it was still about the size, probably that big, right?
It's that big,
yeah.
Yep.
But it wasn't like the double the size.
Not the giant one, no. Yeah. It used to be late 80s, early 90s, you'd have doctors, and they would have their giant cell phone in the corner of their table if they were out to dinner, just to let everybody know. Anyway.
We had a car phone. And
did you do the bag and you plug it in?
It was mounted in the car.
Wow.
So it
must be nice.
My parents got a Pontiac Bonneville, and it had a phone mounted in it, and it sounded terrible.
Yeah, but it was more of a status symbol than anything else because it didn't have to sound great because not that many people had them. So who were you calling anyway? You know what I mean?
My dad had cell phones for work pretty early. Cell phones and computers, because he ran the business out of our house, they had a ton of that stuff. And my grandpa, after he retired from Sherwin-Williams, got really into tech. So he was always able to get stuff cheaper and provide them with that. And he knew how to build computers, so he was always like, "Oh, get this," and he had an in from his connections from when he was the head of security at Sherwin-Williams and in the FBI.
Listen, and in the FBI, yeah, the American Shin Bet. Yeah, so I was thinking about the 90s when they used to do this. Israeli forces would do this, and it sounds like they're bringing it back maybe. Maybe they've been doing it the whole time, and it just hasn't been in front of our faces like this. But there's wild video, if you can find it online, of a couple of dudes putting oranges into a bag. You know, they're just shopping at a market, and a dude's hip blows up because they detonated the pagers.
Okay, now hold on. This is where I'm confused. So they're blaming this on Israel, saying that Israel manufactured the pagers with a device in them that can be detonated and then waited to detonate them?
I think that's what that's what they're saying. I'm a little foggy on that too.
That's what they're
how
claiming.
Is this Israel's fault?
Well, because Israel is fighting Hamas and Hezbollah, and so they're trying to. There's this triangulation
the little guy?
of. I'm sorry.
That little guy that looks like a baby, but he's actually like 25 years old.
Who's that?
Hezbollah. You never heard of him?
No, I haven't. No.
Like Mike Tyson was holding like a baby, but he's an adult man.
No.
He's like kissing his stomach.
Name? I don't know who that is.
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah?
I think that's right.
You could be right. This is Hezbollah. I don't think Mike Tyson is anywhere in this video. I mean, maybe they could see their way to blaming Mike Tyson. But thousands of people across Lebanon.
Hezbollah. He's Hezbollah.
Hezbollah. Okay. Yeah. Thousands, 2,800 people injured. Now, that does include civilians, obviously. I mean, when you're in a situation like this, everybody talks about how there's going to be collateral damage. And 9 people killed. Across Lebanon, when electronic pagers used by Hezbollah all exploded around 3:30 local time. This is today. An unprecedented attack by Israel that involved sabotaging the devices before they were delivered.
Okay, so then this is my next question. Why are they continuing to order products from an enemy?
Well, there are a lot of different supply lines. You don't always necessarily know. You know, you order something from Amazon, you don't know it's coming from China.
Okay, so
until you get it, and it's in Chinese characters on the package. You know what I'm saying?
So the Lebanese Islamic Party is ordering things from Amazon.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Amazon is that's a way that we can all identify with. You don't always know where things are coming from. So now the message that's being circulated, obviously, to members of Hezbollah is, hey, if you have a new pager, throw it away. Because clearly they're not going to order tech from Israel. Or they got... Here's the reason this reminded me of 35 years ago, okay? The way that, like, the Israeli intelligence organizations break down. If you've heard of Mossad, right? That's kind of like their paratrooper unit or whatever. They're the ones that do foreign intelligence. So Mossad acts on behalf of the Israeli defense forces overseas. The internal organization, kind of like their FBI, is called Shin Bet. They're the ones that they do domestic intelligence, they do counter-espionage. And in the mid-90s, they had this dude who wanted to... He was an Arab guy or something who was demanding money from Israel counterintelligence. And they got over on him, and they were going to blow him up with his organization, figuratively speaking, okay? And so they get this guy to cooperate. So they give him a cell phone. This is probably 95, 96. And they tell him it's bugged so that they can listen to his conversations because now he's informing for them. They did not tell him that it had explosive in it. But they knew that he would eventually, he was tasked with getting this phone to a person that Israeli forces said, we want to hear his conversations. So he thought that's all they wanted. He got the phone to the person they wanted to get it to, and they remotely detonated it. So he didn't know that it had explosives in it.
Okay.
And so that was one of those mid-90s cell phone Israeli, operations. And that's kind of what this is. Now, again, I don't know if they still do this. I haven't heard of anything like this in a long time. But there's video online of like dudes, their crotch, what jumped out at me was the crotch explosions because people are carrying pagers probably in their pocket. And so they have put hospitals on maximum alert. And so now everybody is really, really concerned about pagers blowing up. Now, I don't know that this is going to de-escalate anything. I can't imagine that it would.
What the hell is Israel doing?
That's what a lot of people want to know.
What are they doing?
If you hear them tell it, they are merely defending themselves against
what did Lebanon do?
Well, Hezbollah is based out of, I don't know if they're based out of Beirut, but I mean, Hezbollah is to the north of them, Hamas is to the east. I mean, they really are surrounded by people who want to do them harm. It is the manner in which they defend themselves that a lot of people have a problem with, kind of doing this scorched earth thing, rather, which has always been their stated thing. They're like, hey, we're surrounded by people who want to wipe us out. We're going to do whatever we need to do to defend ourselves. It is the degree to which they do that a lot of people have issues with. But I'm just distilling it down to pager explosions feels really old school. That's wild.
I mean, nostalgia.
And that's a lot of people that get hurt, too.
Nostalgia is just crazy these days in every format.
It really is. Like 90s fashions are coming back, not just clothing, but also in international defense and terrorism.
Yep.
I mean, if you're in a car and the video I saw was two dudes picking out oranges at the market and one of them just falls over and you hear the explosion, you see his pocket blow up. There's other still photos of guys who were like on motorcycles and they're falling over because their whole side is torched or whatever. That's out in the open. If you were in a car.
That's probably how Mary's phone was yesterday when she posted those hair pics.
Hair pics?
If your hair made me late for work post?
I didn't post that yesterday.
Wasn't that yesterday?
No.
Well, it showed up on my feed yesterday.
Bill is still on West Coast time.
Yeah.
Yesterday I posted a reel about sobriety. That hair made me late for work is from like 4 months ago.
Oh, okay. Well, it showed up on. That's when it got served to me.
Oh, well, that's very. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well,
furthermore, 4 months ago we didn't even know she was late for work. That's how smooth she is.
Mm-hmm.
How did your hair make you late for work again?
I just curled it and it took too long.
Ah.
But that was literally months ago.
Okay, well, I should have checked the date.
Timestamps help a lot.
The point was it got a lot of attention, and her phone was blowing up.
Yeah.
So.
Good joke.
Good joke. Great joke.
Yeah. Alan, just wait until they start putting them AOL discs in their computers. Think about that. That's
boom.
So this is what I did not know happened, according to Wikipedia, that on October 8th, 2 days after, or the day after the attacks in Israel from Hamas, that Hezbollah fired rockets and artillery shells to Israel in solidarity with Palestinians.
Oh, yeah. Well, and mind you, solidarity these days is pretty easy to come by if it's two groups who are like, we want to kill Jewish people. You know, I mean, we got people over here who are all of a sudden in solidarity with Hamas and Hezbollah.
No, so what I'm saying is I didn't know that. I didn't know that I haven't heard that Hezbollah did that to Israel the day after the October 7th thing. So,
right. But
so when I said, what are they retaliating against? This, I'm assuming, is what they're retaliating
Well,
against.
But also, just in general, decades of Hezbollah wanting to kill Jews.
Sure,
so,
but I didn't know if my point was I didn't know if there was something that happened.
Like a direct reaction
yes,
to,
like you did this, so now we're going to do this.
Right. Any chance for exploding Tamagotchis? Somebody asked. I mean, listen, they could be putting a bomb in the brain of a Cabbage Patch doll. I know that's more 80s than 90s, but everything comes back around again.
Be careful of that Furby over there.
Oh, my goodness. But when the headline is Middle Eastern crotch explosions, that's gonna catch your eye. A lot of people hit me up, too, about the fact that they're starting to have conversations about raising Burke Lakefront Airport. Now, I don't think this is anything that's going to happen anytime soon, but I've been saying this for a long time. You know, I come from a place where a lot of people wanted the Lakefront Airport taken care of so they could develop it, and just one night, overnight, the mayor decides to just plow it up. I don't think that's going to happen here, but because there are a lot of things that go into it. The city can't just do it. You have to get the okay from the FAA. There's money involved, like you get federal grants for having Burke there. So they have to, I guess, decide what the cost-benefit analysis is. But for a long time around here, Burke Lakefront Airport was like this untouchable piece of land, and I never quite understood it. I mean, the only real big moneymaker down there is the Cleveland Air Show. So I understand that, where they're like, well, we would have no other place to do the air show. Okay. But that is 3 days a year that you do that. Just do it over Bill Squire's apartment. You're already
Well, they do.
You're doing it there already.
They need someplace to land.
Land on the roof of Bill Squire's apartment.
It's not big enough.
Squifle Tower. Park it right in that pool.
Hey, no, we need that pool.
You need it in the summertime.
Yeah.
You don't need it for Labor Day.
With Labor Day, it's still open.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It just closed on Sunday. Sunday was the last day.
Did you get a last? Oh, you were gone.
No, I was gone, so I didn't.
Oh, you didn't
my
get...
last day in the pool was the day of
after the cruise.
After the cruise.
Oh, wow.
What's your personality going to be now?
I guess it's up in the air.
That the pool is closed.
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Wow, you really have to find yourself.
Playoff baseball, maybe. We'll see about that.
That's exciting, though. It's open now. I mean, his summertime personality, according to Mary, was pool guy.
Yeah.
And now that fall...
According to me, according to science, got nothing to do with me. I'm just the one who pointed it out.
Science said that he was the pool guy?
Yes.
How does that science work?
By numbers and facts and charts. What are you talking about?
Well, we did a lot of science on the show yesterday in your absence, so Mary is still high on those fumes.
I'm high on science.
Yeah. Well, that is science. Getting high is science. So that's cool.
So now that fall begins this weekend, our autumnal equinox, as it were, you do need to develop a new seasonal personality.
I think I have a girlfriend this year, so we're going to be doing fall activities, pumpkin patching and stuff like that.
Pumpkin patching. That's when you go and fix broken pumpkins.
Yep.
Very nice. Local organizations and produce growers really benefit from that. But those are things you're doing at her behest, her request. These aren't things that...
Exactly.
Yeah, but the pool guy was for you.
Yeah. I don't know.
So you got to develop something for you.
I guess. I mean, I'm very busy with comedy stuff, and it's gonna be tough to find something to fill the pool hole.
Mary, do you have any suggestions for him?
No, I don't have any.
What's your fall personality going to be?
My personality doesn't change. I have the same personality.
Your personality changes from a segment to segment basis.
What are you talking about? My attitude changes from a segment to segment basis.
My
personality doesn't change.
You are a person in recovery.
That's
sobriety
always so.
No, sobriety is a huge, over the past few years, a huge part of your personality, as it should be.
But that doesn't change season to season. I'm not sober in the fall and using in the summer. Maybe
Bill just has more imagination. Maybe he needs a seasonal personality.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a regular personality. But
and what is that?
He doesn't even know.
Sweet boy.
Nope.
His regular personality is sweet boy.
Absolutely not.
Oh, I like that. What's the matter with that, Mary? You wanted the answer, and there it is, and now you don't like it.
I don't have to like anything.
Sweet boy.
We know you don't.
Anyway, Burke Lakefront Airport. People are like, oh, it's a landfill. You can't do it. Yes, you can. There are plenty of places. It's expensive, but you can do it. It was a military facility. It was a landfill. You can put stuff. All kinds of things are built on landfills. It's just whether or not, because what do they always say? They go, oh, we could put retail there. We could put condos. That's why I said as soon as I came to Cleveland, I go, boy, do you guys waste your lakefront property. And lo, these almost 15 years and a change in city management, they're finally starting to listen. But again, it's not just Cleveland's call. You know, you got to get the FAA to say, okay. And the FAA is not always down with that kind of thing because the city gets federal grants for having it open and maintaining the airport there. But if Cleveland had to wait for the grants to expire, this would be way down the road Justin Bibb, he'd be long past being mayor of this city. You're talking another 15 years before something like that. But never get in the way of real estate developers. Those people, developers. Steve Ballmer knows. There's money to be made. Real estate developers, at minimal cost to them, I might add, will squeeze every last bit of juice out of that lemon. And they'll line. Be careful what you wish for. I'm saying that to myself. Be careful what you wish for. But if they're saying, well, we make a lot of money off the Cleveland Air Show, okay. What do you make off the Cleveland Air Show? 10 mil?
Yeah. Now imagine if there were thousands of people down in that area every weekend.
Right. Enjoying the fruits of real estate development's labor. Maybe they should go with Bill's idea of the floating airport.
Floating flying stadium.
Flying.
That's
right. I guess they're playing off your idea.
I appreciate that. But I don't. That sounds impossible.
Well,
floating flying stadium, like there's a roadmap to that.
Yeah.
Floating flying airport. It's like the whole point is to be able to stop flying.
For the people texting me that Bill's new personality should be disc golf guy, he is post disc golf guy.
I tried disc golf, not my thing.
Right.
Not. And is that it's got to be seasonal. I got to have a seasonal personality. So it's got to be fall, winter.
Well, people can play disc golf in the fall. A lot of people do.
But again, I already tried that.
Mm-hmm.
Not my thing.
Understood.
Did not love it.
I'm going to take a break here. I'll have Black Dahlia Murder tickets for you. Boy, you like it heavy. These guys are coming in from Detroit. They're on the road. And